So let me tell you a little bit about Michael. Mike was a funny guy. We used to laugh together a lot. He loved the ocean. He loved swimming in the ocean, and he loved body surfing in the ocean. He was a heck of a guy who really lived life to its fullest. He did a lot of good in the world too. He volunteered for the high school robotics. He loved teaching. He loved judging at the science Olympiads. He loved promoting engineering. I had fallen out of shape, and he came in and he said, "All right, Craig, I'm going to kick your ass and we're going to get going." Because he was training for an Ironman triathlon. And I don't know if you know about Ironman triathlons, but you have to train hours every day in order to be able to run one of those things. He would drag me along on some of his training runs and stuff. I think part of it was to have somebody to keep him company, and part of it was, all right, he didn't want to see his friend, go down the tubes. So I started swimming, running, and cycling. Before I knew it, I was running triathlons with Mike. We used to call him Iron Man, and I've got an Iron Man figurine that he had taped to the front of his triathlon bike. So October, 4.5 years ago, is when Mike went into hospice care and got put onto oxygen. Despite all the painkillers for the cancer, which had spread from his lungs to his brain and his bones, the thing he complained about most was the pain in his nose from that oxygen. At this point in time, I had no idea what the state of oxygen therapy was. The oxygen coming out of an oxygen tank is 20 times drier than the Sahara Desert. And with that oxygen constantly shooting up your nose, it pulls 1.5 cups of water out of your nose and out of your head every day, which is just incredibly drying. I do what any person would do these days when I go onto Google and I look it up and I go, all right, what can I get for Mike? And the only thing that I could get was a bubbler. And we got that and installed it, and it did nothing, except now it shot drops of cold water up his nose, which we found really annoying. So we put this water trap in. It collects the water, but then if you don't empty it, once it fills up, you get a giant slug of water shot up your nose, and it's like waterboarding. And that usually happens in the middle of the night because you have to empty it fairly regularly. When I found out that Mike was still having problems and it still wasn't working, my first instinct was, all right, I work for PermaPure. We call ourselves the world leaders in medical moisture management. I should be able to fix this. I couldn't. I tried to fix it for Mike and couldn't get him a prototype in time. He didn't last the month. After 2.5 years of working on it, I was sitting at a trade show in Germany and came up with a sketch. I'm like, you know what? This could actually work, and I think we could make it affordable. We mocked it up, made one, fired it up, let it run, plugged myself into it, and it felt great. This is it. We can do this. Knowing the team that we had here at PermaPure, I knew that they'd be behind me and that we could get it to here. And that's really started the full development project that now has turned into Oasis. The Oasis personal humidifier heats and humidifies oxygen up to a really comfortable level for your body. When you have it on and you're breathing, it feels great.
COVID just emphasized how important breathing is. And if you know anyone, or if you've ever been challenged to breathe, if you can imagine that lasting for days, weeks, months, the ability for us to alleviate or help our practitioners alleviate that challenge, even in the smallest way, will have a huge impact to get a product approved by the FDA. It's an all hands on deck effort, and to get that approval is an awesome accomplishment, and it sets us up to continue to deliver products like that to market.
One of the other things about PermaPure and Halma is it allowed me the space to pursue this for 4.5 years. Not every company will do that. All of PermaPure and all of Halma got behind us.
Each of our businesses gets to prioritize what they believe is right for their markets and their segments, and that enabled us to bring the product to market.
Once people say, hey, my oxygen therapy is finally comfortable, or I'm able to actually stay on oxygen therapy because I couldn't before because it was too uncomfortable, that's when I'll feel that sense of accomplishment and I'll know we succeeded. One of the last triathlons that we ran together was where the cancer was mostly under control. And on the swim, it was my job to spot him and make sure that he was okay. And he had to pull up and hold on to a support boat to catch his breath, because at that point in time, he didn't have enough working lung capacity to do a swim like that. This is the type of guy Mike was. That triathlon, he enlisted like 6 new people from our friends to go. He's like, listen, if I'm dying from lung cancer, you can run this, you can do this. And so we had a whole group of like 8 of us at that triathlon, 6 of whom had never run a triathlon before, and we all finished. So, I mean, even then, he was still inspiring all of us and keeping us going. I think that he would look at this and be proud that he helped inspire it. And on the inside of every oasis in the case is inscribed, inspired by Michael J. Ferland. It's not just about Oasis, it's about helping the patients. And that's the legacy I want Mike to have. I want Mike to know I want Mike to know that even though he suffered, he inspired something that helped other people not have to suffer, and that would make him proud.